Today also we are going to start another session of question and answers. We'll invite Rupika to present the written questions to start the session, please.
The Most Venerable Bhante, let me express my experience on walking meditation. When I put my right foot on the ground, I feel toughness from heel towards to toes. Also, I feel the same on the left foot. I repeat the action for about 20 minutes. Please advise me on this situation. Theruvan Saranai.
We have a little video prepared by a boy, 8 years old. He is meditating from the age 6, and when he is walking, he can feel not touching areas, specialized. He says, these are the touching areas, I can feel non-touching area. Then I asked him to prepare a small video, and he showed me. I told him just walk in a muddy place and keep the foot on the half-sheet paper, A4 paper, and explain me what are the not touching areas. He prepared left leg and the right leg and explaining it in such a lucid way. Then ask what are the touchable areas of the breath and not touching areas of the breath. I have not meditated like that. Then I told, please do it. And with the help of his father, he drew a graph. He says the tip of the S-shaped curve I can feel, the balance I can't feel. So this is talking about the touchable areas, the friction. But when you keep on practicing, you can see whole leg is not touching on the ground. Whole breath you can't feel. The beginning you can't feel, end you can't feel. You are explaining only which is generally the middle. But in the soul, it's a different story. Then I showed this in the Satipasala International class. And one boy in Canada, he explained the soul in 13 numbers. He told this is the first place touching, this is the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. He decorated in different colors. Then as the heel touching, this is the angle of the leg. When touch is increasing, how the angle is changing and how the leg is leaving, giving rise to the other leg. So they are so lucid, so in slicing of everything and explaining in a very simple English. And I much promoted the first boy is in Sydney. It's a Sri Lankan boy, but he can't speak much of Sinhala, but he tried his best and explaining. So therefore try, we are in a residential retreat, try all the possible touching place in order to see what are the not touching areas. That is also possible. That is also within the premises of the mindfulness. So this is explaining the touching areas, expand it, diversify it, every single moment. And there you can understand. Then when can we have a full understanding of the soul? If you know only the touching areas, it is less than 60%. Most of the part it is not touching. And what about the starting of the touch? What about the end of the touch? What about the shifting to the other leg? So much of things. Buddha explained it in a rotating wheel. He says how much little of the wheel is touching the ground, just like a tangent, less than 1%. As it rotates, the pressure is going there, one spoke by one spoke, pressure is taking. The power line is working. That has been explained as a ekaro. Ara means the radius and how the radius is changing and the power shifting is happened. He explained 2600 years ago. Still it is valid. We have 2 videos on ekaro. I think they are in Sinhala, but Sinhala it's not in English. But that boy, he never explained that in the rotation way, but he explained the non-touching areas. It's very interesting. And I told SMS, subject matter specialist, on that. Anything he is touching, he can explain what are the not touching parts. The first I met him on age 6. And when he was age 8, he came with the parents and others and talked with me. And next time when we are having the camp in Sydney, he was the announcer. And the first day onward, he is not taking the dinner, he is preparing himself to become a monk. So, day after tomorrow, when you go back home, what will happen? You will take a heavy dinner in order to pay the arrears of the last few days. Or otherwise, go for a dinner party. And I asked father, when the young boy is not eating, what do you feel? I don't touch Bhante. I have given to you. Then I told, at least you have to live under the parents 17 years, then I will take care. And so cute. So I am asking this person also, please try to get absorbed into every inch, every square millimeter, and see how the weight as well as shifting, and then you can understand the miracle of not touching. And you will understand Buddha is the only person who can touch 100%. He never slips. Supatittita pada. Because his virtues are perfect. When you keep the leg, 100% touching. So we usually have our arch area and above the ball not touching, and you don't know. But you can understand. You can understand if you are mindful, not only on the touching part and even touching, expand that into the breath, expand that into when you are eating, expand when you are bathing, how much little you have the experience and how much you are make a picture, how much make a story, how much you fantasizing and how much it is mind-made, how much the direct touch. We are moving.
Bless all good luck in this meditation. Most Reverend Bhante, report on my morning meditation. Walked briskly several times over the choir mat few minutes in order to stretch and loose body muscles and started walking meditation. Noted moving of the left leg, raising and stepping, and was aware of lightness, roughness, hardness, etc. With the alternative steps too, was mindful and aware of changes occurring and its impermanency. The walk was gathering a certain rhythm or pattern and mind calmer, and decided to sit and observe Anapanasati. My main object was the breath. I settled on my cushion with bent legs and back was kept raised a little higher in order to keep the upper body erect, and can be seated for a considerable time without discomforts. Commenced with Buddhaguna Bhavana and began to watch my breath. Took a deep inhale until lungs were full. Exhaled as usual. Observed the coolness and warmth of each inhale and exhale on the tip of my nose, where I watched it as my observing point. I observed breath was prominent on my right nostril. I was observing very mindfully the breath inhale longer, exhale shorter. Kept on watching closely. The body was getting very calmer. I could only prominently see the impermanency of that body and was not within my control. It was not me or self. However, there was a me or I watching it. How can I get rid of this? Am I to take observing as only a phenomena, as stated in yesterday's Bana? Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, the early part of the report is talking about the manners. When you are observing something, you just see the shape, just like a snapshot. But you keep on observing like a video, then you can see the manners, how the shapes are changing. That is called chronological changes. So that means you are seeing the shape and the manners. That means snapshot is changing, advancing into the video. And then when you more become diligent and vigilant and proximate observation, there's no permanent shape, because always the shape is changing. Unless otherwise the camera the capture is so sharp, so changing. So ultimately it will become whether you start with the rising and falling or breath or whatever, maybe everything is in a flux. So that is the way we call the shape, the manner and the natural characteristics. When the shape is come into being, when the shape is revealing, your meditation is very fascinating. That is definitely you are in vipassana. The samatha is going on with the shape. You are frightening to change the shape. You will complain, no, I can't meditate because my breath is changing, my rising and fall is changing, because they wanted to have a permanent figure. But in vipassana, moment you try to report, that means your mind is appreciating it and you know how to report it, that means it is going to the manner. And then mind is plunging into the object and observe, so much so, you completely forget about the rest of the world. And then, more you come closer, zoom in, you see there is no thought moment of the same shape. It's fast changing. So that's all your yogi has to do. Then onward, everything is happening in the law of the nature. So this area you have to push. When you are pushing, of course, you have to cut off all the other thing, forget about the rest of the thing, just plunge into, and then you can understand how much the distance look, how much once you go into it, completely different, unbelievable. To have that, you must have prepared mind. You must have changes. Your mind must appreciate the changes. Usually it is very arrogant, it doesn't like. But when you are preparing the mind become changing, then you find you like water. Whatever the vessel you pour into, it takes the shape of the vessel. That is the Zen mind. You are not asking, I must have the flat surface, so I must have this and that. No, you want to pour the water, it takes the shape. So that is the point, you start the evolution in your mind. Evolution of the human being. Otherwise we are idiots. Otherwise we are such a foolhardy. We are not allowing things to happen. So this is very interesting. Then only the meditation starts. So you have to daily give the early part of your meditation to see the shapes and the manners and then facilitate it. When it is going there, you become just a mere observer. Just like a video camera there, just observing. Don't try to destroy it. Imagine when the Arthur C. Clarke found the sending of a satellite outside and looking the earth from the satellite. Completely different. Now warfare is happening, GPS is happening only through that, because we are just send a satellite and the short waves are going there and coming back to the same, and you can see whatever the thing. Usually hidden areas you can see because of the reflector. So mindfulness becomes the satellite or a reflector. So you can see, not only you can see others also. Don't try to destroy it. It has taken a different stand. From the earth you can see the satellite, from the satellite you can see the earth. So you are getting two perspectives. And you can see all the humans are the same. I am nothing specific. So what happened is you become just a grain of sand in a sand bed. You are nothing special. You are just a citizen John. But that is not the case. We always try to keep ourselves up, one-upmanship and arrogance and sectarianism and problems. Because you can't see from the distance point of view. So understanding at least, I am talking due to this reflection. I see the reflection. And earlier I thought that I am looking. It's a joke because your eye can see everything, but your eye can't see I. That no one knows. I can see through a mirror. And therefore I think I see everything, but I see except my eye. But when the satellite happens, that's also possible, because it's an image. Don't try to reduce, don't try to destroy it. Just have this different outlook, different viewpoint, then you can see the Buddha also, you can see the Dhamma also, because you are nothing there. You are just a grain of sand. Ananta appaka valuka ganga, ananta niputa jina. And so much of enlightened beings also there, just grain of sand. Who are you? You are not destroying anything, you are making it just back to its own place. Don't try to push it up in the put up in the pedestal and don't start whitewashing it. It's a childish game. But you can't redo it unless otherwise you have this perspective, looking at yourself as if someone else is looking. Because the mindfulness is working as a reflector, or your teacher also appear like a reflector, your co-practitioners also appear like a reflector, so you know how to get the Dhamma. You know how to learn the Dhamma rather than waiting for the next Buddha to appear. So therefore don't try to destroy the self, just ask self to take the proper place. Don't underestimate, don't overestimate, and then you are no more making any fuss. You are not making any turmoils. You are not making any whirlpools. Just Citizen John. Citizen John is a male number, but a lot of females are there. You can say Citizen Alice or something like that. We are moving.
Most Venerable Bhante, report on walking meditation. Primary object, left foot and right foot. At the start, I walked fairly fast to keep my attention on the left and right soles and the rough feel of the choir mat. Even so, until about 8 or 10 laps, the mind strays to thoughts. I bring it back, always at midpoint and at the end of the length of the mat. I note if I am mindful. After about 10 laps, this is not necessary. I can maintain attention. If thoughts occur, I realize it very soon, and it becomes less and less, and can remain mindful for an entire lap. I note the rough feel on heel and toes and how the weight shifts from one foot to the other. Then the pace slows and mindfulness can be maintained on 3 stages of placing foot, the heel drop into the mat first, then midsole and finally toes. Likewise, the 3 stages of lifting, heel, sole, toes. But walking in very slow forward movement, I see 3 phases. Lifting and moving forwards and dropping. With this type of slow mindful walking, sometimes the foot gets placed more on outside edge and I feel loose of balance and tendency to fall. Then I pick up speed and kept walking. The left and right gets mixed up at times. But as I continue, it is very comfortable. I feel the upper body is being taken over right by the lower body. Thoughts don't interfere. Please guide if wrong. I also feel it's like the journey in samsara, placing and selecting in one place and to lift or move forwards, on and on. May Bhante attain Nibbana in this life itself. Much merits for guidance.
So this is also explained in the last part of the last report also. That says, while I am maintaining mindfulness of breath, I can see the body calms down. And this is also right to say, while I am listening, the breath becomes calm down. I am looking at something, but still I can see the rest of this calming down or agitating. Or I am becomes comfortable or uncomfortable. Or simply put, liking and disliking. The day you understand whatever the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, it's always colored by a liking and disliking. The day you see it, you see how the scripts are working in the mind. Whenever you something, you never noticed it without liking and disliking. If it is not liking and disliking, that thing will not be noted. That will not come into the scene. That will not come into the memory. That's how we see. We categorically, with the selective absorption, when female are seeing, they may see the males are more attractive. When the males are seeing, they may be seeing the females are attractive. So much of thing. We never see the thing. We see only the attractive and not attractive, the like and dislike. So little bit if you observe it, then you can see your character type. Then you can see your directed dispositions. Then you can see tendencies. So therefore you have to just see. That I like, that I do not like. But what about the other no like, no dislike? They never come, they never occur. They never inflict you. So people think, I am seeing what the things are, what the things there are. No, what you see, that you are. John Kabat-Zinn wrote a big, thick book. What you see, that you are. What you see indicate who you are. So therefore, when the mind is calm, world is calming, breath is calmed down, mindfulness is calmed down. When your mind is agitated, world is agitated, mindfulness is agitated, breath is agitated, sounds are disturbing. So always you attribute to the outside, so you become a fool. The day you understand the mindset, your house arrangement, that interpret what is happening outside. But always they are not for the bad. There are a lot of places where comfortable, contentment and satisfaction is there. Our natural interpretation is negative. It's always negative. That is what we learn by interacting with the other worldly beings. They always make us negative. So therefore, moment you become unto yourself, you get the other side, where that is not attractive. So therefore you have to train from this negativity to the positivity. World is the same. That is what happened in meditation. You are changing your perspective. So therefore you don't worry whether sounds happen. Don't worry whether sound come and disturb you. See the liking and disliking. That is very subtle. And I am thoroughly advise you, don't take care about the others liking and disliking. You are missing your life. Very difficult to do away with, because you develop, when you are meditating, you are developing emotional literacy, emotional intelligence. You feel like liking and disliking, just keep it shut. Be aware, they are objects. How I develop liking and disliking, that Professor Padmasiri put it into the motivational theory. Whatever the like, you have the natural motivation to go that side. Whatever you don't like, unconsciously you avoid it. I put that into the Sinhalese term, වැලයන පැත්තට මැත ගහගෙන යනවා. Wherever maybe mind is going, you just follow and just spy. Just like a CID police. Just let the mind to play, just natural way, and just observe how it is seeking the pleasure, how it is avoiding the unpleasant situation, and don't be judgmental, just observe it, and that is the approximating to the Nibbana in the Vipassana Jnana is called Sankhara Upekha Jnana. Whatever the arise, you have a equally suspended attention or suspended decisions, just see. And it is been put into the beginner's mind, the choiceless awareness. You just be aware, but you have no choice. Whenever liking and disliking, just put a note. Don't try to stop it. And then you understand how much you have been programmed. Whose agenda? Is my liking and disliking leading to my well-being? Never. Never. Because your likings are disliking utter defilements. So whenever it is become fulfilled, you will be dragged off. But when there is no liking and disliking, no motivation. But the Buddha is telling, make the life no liking and disliking, but very enthusiastically, very vigilantly, very diligently observe it. Then you become omnipotent, omnipresent God. You can decide whatever you like. So therefore, this last part of the last letter, as well as this letter, is talking about, while I am observing something, there is another dimension. It may be side by side or one upon another. So that is possible for human being. 2 screens you can operate at a time. But simple mindfulness we call one thing at a time, and that done well. But this is now going to diversify. That I put from the order to go to the disorderly manner. From the lenient relationship to go to the matrix. So let it happen. Don't make it a burden, because it is natural in the meditation mind, and be thorough in the discussions and the inferential knowledge. Just let go. If it is difficult, just come back. Just like a turtle, tug in all the limbs. Carry on. Then meditation is not a meditation. It's become a hobby like. It becomes such a fun. So enough for that, we are moving.
Walking meditation. Primary object. Walking left foot, right foot. I walked on the sand path. I felt the soft sand, and in certain places the soft sand under my soles. In some places there was a small heap of sand, and some places the sand was scanty on the ground. Some places were warm and some places cold. I felt the body weight moving from left to right. When I put the right forward and place on the ground, the body weight more on the right, while raising the left and taking it forward. I stood still for a moment, could feel the pain below my ankles and my heartbeat. Did not count the number of steps, 15 to 20 minutes. No hindrances.
Yeah, when you are walking, if you are not very sharp, but little sharpness, you can see always you are walking with one leg. The other leg is just swinging, preparing for the next step. And then soon it's going to take, this leg become paralyzed and just like moving and taking the other one. So therefore, ekaro, all the time, the one radius only take the weight from the periphery to the axle. So when you are observing it, the Da Vinci already noticed from the hip to the toe, hip to the top of the head, exactly the same. Hip is the axle and it is rotating. And when he is taking the measurement, he found there's a huge symmetry. When we are measuring our ropes, we measure from this bone to the end of it. This is what you call 1.5 or Riana. Usually in the exercise book it says 18 inches. No, I'm in mine 19.5 inch. Short fellows it is less than 18. This is we call my own Riana. Now British government made a 1 yard gold strip and sealed it, and they say this is a yard. No, 2 Riana means 1 yard. My Riana is not her Riana. They are changing. But now we have permanent kilometers and miles and all the kinds of people completely crazy. While walking, you see, you are walking on one foot, and when someone is riding a one wheel cycle, it's a magic. 2 wheels, usually we are doing bicycle, but single cycle, but we are doing that circus all the time. So therefore, more you practice, you see how quickly the weight is shifting from one to the other. And I am usually 63 kilos. Imagine 63 kilos, one bag of sand, changing from this sand to that sand. But forget about, just take a one cement bag, 50 kilos. Try to shift into this one. How difficult. But you see the legs, 65 kilos, shifting in a flat land, we don't feel 65. It is so swift. Even climbing, we don't see the miracle. So therefore, look into your walking and observe, and kind of taking a morsel into your hand and leading to the mouth, and see how the backhoe machine is working and how often it can change into something. It's such a synchrony. But we never appreciate it. We always think the machineries are much efficient and good, but this is the best machine. All the machines are copying this one. So therefore, be happy with your body. Love your body. That is what you call loving kindness. It's called Sukhi Attanam Pariharami. Wherever you go, be comfortable. Be relaxed. You must know how to sit relaxed, how to walk relaxed. Not only while you are doing yoga meditation. But tell me one job on the earth, give a relaxed, symmetrical exercises. All the jobs are asymmetric. You are doing the job from 25 to 55 or 65, then what will happen to your skeleton? Completely messed. So therefore keep the body comfortable and see what a miraculous thing it is I got due to my good karmic forces, and I am not using for disturbing others. When am I walking, when I am eating, doing, be aware of it, and maximum, it's a fully equipped lab. So this is a good kind of a hint how shifting happen in the weight. And some people just take the touch as the base and see how each and every touch discreetly understand from one or the other. So then you see the brain is always working. Even not touching part also you can understand. So there is no end to diversification, and don't think it is endless because it is introvert. Extroverting may be endless, but this is introvert, and one day you will understand. When soon you understand, you will leave it aside. All the other things, more you understand, more love it, and more you have the attachment. But this one is such a miraculous machine. More and more you learn, it's slowly get a distance. It become a self-driven machine. You are just a distance observer. That is the best for your body. Not the whole thing you are doing. Everything you do is imbalance. But let the body to just walk and observe it. Just let the body to eat and just observe it. Just let the body to have a bath. Just observe it. No difference. So therefore it's a kind of a pathway finder or diversification through walking. The Buddha is the only teacher explain how to meditate upon walking. No any places are there. So therefore we are also very happy in Nissarana. We promote it and we are fairly successful because of walking meditation. So see all the possible facets. We are moving.
Most respected Bhante, I'd like to report on experience of disenchantment probably. There are many things which are not so important to me anymore and don't give me so much pleasure anymore. For example, food. My preferences used to be important and favorite food to give satisfaction. Now it doesn't give much pleasure anymore. And so the preferences are losing its importance. I understand that this is progress, but emotionally I leave behind. I miss the easy pleasures, some for the kind and gentle vibrations which regularly visit me. They used to gladden my mind. Now, best case, if at all, I can use them to relax the body. Even when they show up in their 5-star deluxe quality, it can't gladden the mind anymore. There are more such examples. I think this is enchantment, but no yet dispassion. Is this correct? It feels like a grieving process. How can I facilitate or support the step from disenchantment to dispassion? Intellectually it's clear, but emotionally is more difficult. Please, respected Bhante, can you advise and share your thoughts on this? Thank you, Theruvan Saranai.
If you are reading the Visuddhimagga, it says it takes a lifespan of 100 and cut into 10 pieces. 10 decades. Manda dasaka, Krida dasaka, Varna dasaka, Bala dasaka, Jnana dasaka, Hana dasaka. The first 10 is you are just lying up, looking upside because you are just a baby. And the second decade you are playing. Whether you don't know whether male or female, you don't know whether Muslim or Catholic, you are playing. Third one, you start to wearing the matching colors and looking at the girls and bodybuilding and all the pharmaceutical or facelifting or beautification. And the fourth one, it is called, all the senses come into the maturity, full-fledged. And the 50 is the point where your maturity going to start, the brain. Therefore, you call that you are psychologically reborn in 50s. But go to a developed country and see, by 50s, no one is there. They are already addicted, they are doing this crime and all. There's no kind of thing. There are few. So after 50, all the senses started to decay. Hana dasaka. And then body start bending, and then using a stick, and then the last one is again lying down. 10th one, this thing is we call dementia. Moha dasaka. Calling the attendant as the mother, calling the mother as the daughter, and everything is, so people call, I am having dementia, I have the Alzheimer, many names. The Buddha says, Moha dasaka. So when the 60 onward, everyone is talking like this. Not by meditation, but by bankruptcy. This is hateful statement. Imagine a young boy or girl in the 15, 16 or 21, 22, then understand their dark hair, early third of their life, and still they can understand. They can understand disenchantment. But the mothers are not happy. They come and say, Bande, don't teach these things. Wait till the marriage finished. Then do anything you like. Because we are responsible to have this glassware, we have to sell it. After selling it is breaking, no problem. Married daughter, split water. No harm. But before that, don't introduce meditation. So when you go on Satipasala, we can see the reaction. We can see the reaction from the teachers, from the parents and the religious masters. Because we are talking with the girls and boys in the, say, age 6, age 7. They are also talking like this. The difference is, this one is, can't help. Now you are on the downfall. The senses are gone. Things are not beautiful because your eyes are with cataract. So things are unbeautiful. That I am not happy with the food because your taste buds are gone. So this is what the elderly people, Mahasi Sayadaw says, this kind of hateful people, specifically the elderly yogis, eat very little. Ultimately they become fainted. Because they think this is enchantment, disenchantment, not disenchantment, this is a hate. So therefore you have to understand it, do it, and let the mind, let the body, let the nature to understand this impermanent nature or suffering nature or disenchantment, but don't try to impose it. Imposement is always with hatred. So present day, we are dealing with the elderly people. It took 150 retreats for me to understand I must earn the elders people's heart, then only I can go to the children. Because otherwise elderly people, they don't know what I am going to do. She helped me to start the mindfulness in the young adults. And there I kept all the elders right round because it's a heavy responsibility, just teaching them how impermanent it is, how suffering it is. Whenever they come to know, parents are pressurizing and teachers are pressurizing, don't look at like that. You have to entertain the life. So therefore they are amused and they don't know what to, they are bewildered. So we have to tell, take it yourself and see, are you going to listen to the parents, those who have spent a completely unsuccessful life, or you are going to take your own experience. So it's a challenge. Meditation is not a challenge, but the consequences, the results are so fast, so quick. You can't comprehend. You can't comprehend it. You can't adjust into that. Because the world is trying to not to see this kind of a, how do you call that, becoming weak, dilapidated. They don't like. They want to have the beautification and all the kind of thing. But meditation is such. So therefore people, elderly people, meditation and meditation reports. Younger people, meditation and meditation reports. Then those who really understood what is the meditation report, they are multivarious. The best thing is to read the Tipitaka, whereby the enlightened beings still they have given their testimonials. Read the testimonials and see how much I am imposed the disenchantment or how much I am naturally understanding the disenchantment. These are two things. The naturally understanding, it's called with wisdom. Imposing is always with hatred. That is what we call psychiatric, pathogenic situation. All the mental diseases, psychiatrists, they say hatred. And earlier they told some diseases psychosomatic due to hate. Now it is 100% diseases are due to hatred. So therefore learn your weakness, learn your disease and see how you are hating this and that. Instead understand it's nothing perfect. Just see, one day you have to give it up. So that giving up is not a defeat. If it is happening through the wisdom, no hate. If there is no wisdom, the hate is the base. So when you are reading a book, when you are listening to someone, when you are writing to someone and talking, the other person can easily understand, figure it out, what is the underlying tendencies, the underlying message, whether it is a fabricated conditioning or hate base. So that communication stops. So you have to understand, you have to enlighten the other part. Don't try to impose disenchantment. Don't try to get rid of your egoistic idea. They are hate-based, but keep on meditating, mindfulness, so that the background will be prepared for you to understand it. And that is also never happen in plural terms. It happens on the singular term. We can't teach and enlighten the whole group. No, by trying everything, one person may understand. Others may not. It is not due to the badness of the student or the teacher. That's the way it is happening. So therefore, continue knowing that it may be a fantasized disenchantment or realistic disenchantment. As far as you have your doubt, you are safe. As far as you are not telling it's exactly the reality. No, it may be a imagination, it may be a concept. The best book we are reading nowadays, the Venerable Jnanananda's Concept and Reality. Very difficult. Specifically towards anicca dukkha anatta, specifically towards disenchantment, we don't know whether it is mind-made or conceptual or it is reality. So the reality, if it is happening, it can be verified. Other thing you can see, it's conditioning of the mind. It's a script. So I don't think it is completely script, but doubting about whether it may be a concept is very safe. Venerable Jnanarama says, always underestimate, no harm. Always underestimate, keep on practice. Then the real thing will come.
Most Venerable Sir, I am writing this Kamatahan report seeking further guidance for my practice. Background. I have been practicing Sati since 2012 under your guidance and have been practicing Vedananupassana. Over the last few months, both my feet got injured. One was fractured. I was diagnosed with slipped discs and also contracted COVID. All this gave me a wonderful opportunity to practice. Since I did not take painkillers, I was able to watch the pain manifesting and disintegrating into particles. I was also able to note the liking that the mind had developed to watching this process over and over again. After this experience, I am deeply convinced of this being the Ekayano Maggo and have a feeling of deep gratitude for the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. The mind seems to be able to accept what comes its way much better. Death does not seem something in the distant future as it did before. This difficult patch in my life was indeed well used due to sati. 2. Walking meditation. The first footsteps are heavy and stiff due to injury. This is noted as patavi. Then the touching points of the foot become apparent. Thereafter, the swaying motion of the lower body becomes apparent, like the motion of a backhoe, like a machine. Meanwhile, an occasional thought floats by, and that is noted. Breath meditation. A long in-breath is followed by a wide expanse of nothingness. The out-breath is less pronounced and is followed by emptiness. Occasionally, the pounding from the chest area is noted. Calm sets in with a few breaths. No sensations are apparent, but an occasional thought manifests and drops when noted. The mind does not get elated even if states of concentration arise. It is also just another occurrence. Please advise Venerable Sir. Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, whatever happening, bad or good, no effect, no difference to the mindfulness. But of course, when it's happening, immediately you have kind of waves and then the resilience. The mind adjusts into that and come back to the normal way of life. But it is easy with you, but very difficult with your family members. It is very difficult with your relatives. And it is very difficult with the doctors also. They are very, very compassionate to pick your pocket. Whenever this is happened, they pick the pocket. But if you are living alone, anything happens, very easy. A few days you get the shock and then you come back. The resilience type. But you are living in a society, very difficult to reason it out. And even without such a distraction or accident, the Buddha has given the way you can assume that precious, how precious is the present moment. Whether you are with some kind of a paralytic or disease or not. So therefore we are living in the society, we must be thankful for the accidents and difficulties people are having. And all the accidents, all the suffering is for the fools. Wise people, even the leg is broken, whatever will happen, take it, put into the correct path and understand the suffering nature. And good enough, we are sharing. We are sharing in a very decent society. We are not begging. We are not going to show one-upmanship. We are sharing. That's what we call the sasana. So therefore continue to do it. Each and every dark cloud, there's a silver light. You must try to find a reason to be glad under any circumstances. That's why I like Pollyanna. We are moving. Finished?
Theruvan Saranai Swamin Wahanse. In yesterday's sermon, you talked about many subjects like education, social issues, science, state of the world, etc. Also about criticism to sati by some people. I find it difficult to relate all these topics to the sutta appointed to this retreat. Please can you explain, Swamin Wahanse? I hope I can understand better today.
I hope I too also will come to the better, because now only we are converging with the how Buddha says, if you these things you can correlate each other, if you can focus together, these things are not for the betterment of you. So therefore you have to put it in the correct perspective. So last 2 days we were making the ground. Hopefully we will try to see how to put the jigsaw puzzle in the correct way, and then there may be some new insights may happen. So we'll wait and see for the today's talk. Okay, now today we have taken the full hour, so there is no chance to ask any other comments. So there we are going to stop it. And today we will gong the bell at 2:45, and we have the 45 minutes of sitting meditation. Yesterday we had 1 hour sitting, and we have to take 15 minutes advance, 15 minutes from the walking, sitting. So I am repeating till 2:45 we are walking, 2:45 to 3:30 we are sitting, and 3:30 to 4 o'clock short walking break, and then the talk. Thank you very much for the participation.